Okay, here's my story. So last March, had a blood test because I've been struggling for years with low iron. Finally, my doctor says your iron's fine, but your potassium levels are low, which is really, really strange. Google it, it is really strange. So he puts me on some potassium tablets and he goes, come back again in 6 months or whatever and we'll test again. Test again and it's still low. And he goes, that's really, really not okay. So send you off to a specialist. Sends me off to a specialist who asks a bunch of stupid questions, which in retrospect were completely pointless and really ridiculous questions like, do I drink herbal teas and weird things like this? I'm like, what? Anyway, he finally sends me off for a CT scan. They did find a 4 centimetre tumour on my adrenal gland, which is on top of my kidney. At the time they said, don't worry about it, it'll be benign, it's 1 in a million that it could be cancer, it's all good, don't stress about it. But sends me off to another specialist to see if I need to have surgery to have it removed, because you can actually, it's actually quite common to just have these tumours, you might not even know about it, like if it didn't affect my potassium and they didn't find it, nobody would have known and I would have been fine. But it was affecting my potassium, which affects all sorts of other things like your heart, etc. Anyway, so I go off to this other the other specialist, and he runs another bunch of tests to see if I qualify for getting surgery. And then he finally says, look, I reckon it's enough that we can go and get surgery. So then I meet with the surgeon, and he says I need to run a PET scan, which is basically like a fancy CT scan, just so that he knew when he got in there what he was working with. By the time he ran that PET scan, which was about 3 months after my original CT scan, the tumour had grown to like 7 centimetres. And so he went, okay, this is not a keyhole surgery anymore, which it was originally going to be. This is an open surgery. I have an impressive scar photo that I can send you. You can put that in the video. He claimed not to know at the time whether or not it was cancerous. I think he probably knew that it was cancerous, but he didn't want to freak me out because he knew how terrified I was that it was going to be cancer. So then books me in for surgery, which was now an open surgery. I have a 25 centimetre scar from the middle of my abdomen out to the side, basically under my ribs. Pulled out a 7 to 8 centimetre tumour by the time they finally did that. They did that in March this year, sent it off for testing, and I'm a 1 in a million, it was cancer. The good news is with my story, I haven't had to have any radio or chemo or anything like that. I am on a medication called mitotane. There's about 20 people in the country who are on this medication to try and make sure that it doesn't come back. If it does come back, I don't really know what the solution is. So fingers crossed that the medication works. I think my message to people is just go and get an annual blood test. I don't think, if I had waited to find other symptoms of that cancer, I would probably be dead by now or on my way to being dead. If it had gotten, it was really aggressive, it grew really quickly. So it was not good. It was gonna wipe me out. So I think my message to people is just go get an annual blood test, book yourself in, you wouldn't miss a haircut. So go get a blood test, go to the doctor, get a blood test, or if you're worried about anything, don't let the doctor talk you out of it and tell you that it's nothing. Be concerned and keep pushing and push for those tests. I don't know why they're so reluctant to do the tests. I'm not a doctor, I don't know. Does it cost them money? I have no idea, but push them and keep going and just get your answers because, it could save your life.